We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content. And we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel.
Are we on?
Because we care.
All right. Good evening and welcome, everybody, once again to another edition of Kyber Cave After Dark. Yes, Say Wong, we are late getting on. No, we don't freaking care. This is just how the hell we roll. All right, everybody, my name is Fours. Alongside me tonight is the return of the great, the mighty. Woo! Dave is back, baby.
Woo! It's been far too long. Oh my God, hang on.
Down below, we have the fabuloso Rubik's Q Arcana.
Hi.
And then, of course, we have...
Get rid of my background.
There, we have the unmistakable, beautiful Jen's in the house.
Woo!
And then over here, we have... It's Mrs. Fours. What's cooking, everybody? How the hell are you?
Hey,
Oh my
hey.
Oh my gosh, Dave's in the chat.
I know.
I was bored, and this just felt better than masturbating. So.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Oh,
alrighty then.
I missed you after seeing you guys all last weekend. I really missed being on the show, so I felt like I wanted to jump in here.
You have been missed, brother.
No, I appreciate that.
I just wanted to say hi because I haven't seen you in person yet.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
All right, Mezzo, if you could still hear me, can you throw the subject matter right above me, please?
Our subject.
Our subjects for this evening.
Yes.
It's freestyle.
We've been doing that a lot lately. No, Mezzo, it is not.
Well, while we're waiting for that, how's everyone's week been?
A mixture of like shit and right there. Okay.
It's been a nope. It's been just a nope. So yay!
My birthday was this week, so it was okay.
Could you imagine a big pool of gutter sludge and monkey spunk?
Oh, yay,
Yuck.
That's been my week.
All right, Jen. So what are you this week? Like 32, 33?
Well, I'm immortal, and I stopped counting years ago.
So you are Mrs. Vandal Savage. Got it.
No, I go by Sylvie now.
Okay.
Wait, I'm trying to go Vandal Savages. That sounds so familiar.
Well, it was a throwback from last night on the bill.
Seriously. Anthony, how the hell are you?
I'm holding it together mostly.
Is it like your background? Like you just exploded into colors?
Feels about how my back feels. It's been shot since last Friday. But I had an appointment and consultation with my chiropractor today where they took some x-rays. And it turns out that like I have several torn ligaments in my neck. Apparently he said it looks like I've been in a car accident.
Oh, geez.
And I haven't.
That sucks.
So that's fun.
What?
But so they offer a bunch of these new treatments now at this facility. Some of them are called trigger point injections, where they do like a saline and lidocaine solution, and those are supposed to be like immediate relief for tense muscle issues. But they also do this other thing called plasma something platelets or platelet something with plasma. Anyway, it's something that uses your own blood to like separate out the platelets in it and then re-inject that into problem areas, and it helps like rebuild muscle issues. So
do you have
cool.
Do you have a business out there in Cali called KC Kinetics?
I don't know.
It's like it's kind of like an institute where they use non-invasive procedures to like get pain areas out. So there's no needles, no surgery involved. It's like it's sort of like a new study thing they're doing. I don't know if it's like a Florida thing only, but I would say look into it. It's called KC Kinetics.
Well, somebody else that I'm close to recommended like a neurotherapist.
I think that's what we should call our fight team.
What? Like it's a physical therapist that like does things like this where he sees that this is your problem area and then finds this other part on your body that's like the cause of it and then works that shit out. She swears by him. I just can't find his office yet. Like I searched, I tried, I failed.
Yeah, that's like a pressure point thing where like you have it's almost like Reiki and then like what is that stuff? Is Reiki the stuff that you do with your feet? I didn't think that's what it was.
No, that's reflexology.
No, Reiki is what happens with your
like chakras and energy.
Yeah, Reiki is the chakra. It's
okay. Yeah, there's something like with
these
your
are
feet.
Reiki.
You can do pressure points in your feet to help with certain
reflexology.
parts. Yeah, reflexology. That's it.
My mom does put those. My mom does that.
All of these avenues in my life.
And then you've got
yoga.
Namaste.
Namaste. God damn.
Mrs. Flores, what's happening in your life?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
are there good things happening?
I put one of my paintings in a gallery.
Yay!
There you go.
Yay! Look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome and scary and awesome.
And it's funny because I took a number of them, and so I have the lighthouse one up, and it's really funny because the curator, she's like, so what can I just get your blue-eyed man in there too? I was like, no, that one's my personal favorite one. That's the one that was for myself.
That's awesome.
One of my the actor portrait. Yeah, I was just like, oh man,
right.
that's the one thing that was really good that did happen this week. But other than that, I just had kind of a shit week.
All right, we still have no idea what our theme is for tonight.
I got messages on that. I'm just stalling till they get here. Oops, I shouldn't have said that.
So one of your paintings is called Blue-Eyed Man?
No, one of my paintings is a painting of Jonathan Brandis, an actor. So. That's the one that's always there.
I'll call it the pink-eyed mute.
I know I've shot. You guys have seen him online.
Hey,
online.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. So real quick, Dave, how's the JOB?
Yeah, see, it's been a week for everyone, hasn't it?
Except
for Frey Girl, because she's awesome.
I know. All right, well then, you know what? F it. Let's just jump to the topic. So tonight we have minority representation in media. Too much, lack thereof. Thoughts? Frey Girl, want to start us off?
Sure. So, and you guys, who's caught up with Last of Us? Just me. This is gonna be fun.
I haven't even watched one episode.
All right.
I have promises to keep, so
no, and I understand. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but
we've played the game. We know what's up.
Right. Okay, but this is something different from the game.
Apparently there's a lot of they've made some changes. I've seen I've read stuff about it, but I haven't really done any research or watched anything. Been trying.
Okay, well, it has impact on the show, but it doesn't have any major impact on the story itself. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, and this is what I came up with this topic because of this. There's in episode 5, they're doing Sam and Henry's kind of their story and how they meet up with Joel and Ellie. And so in that, instead of having Sam just, talk, he can talk, he can hear, he can everything, they made him deaf.
Interesting.
And
Yeah,
he can talk, he can hear, he can everything. They made him deaf. And, he can talk, he can hear, he can everything. They made him deaf.
Interesting.
And I haven't played the game. I mean, I know enough about it, and I've watched Mr. and Mrs. Fours play. So, I mean, I do know that, you know, like I do have some foreknowledge of what's going to happen. But I love it. I love The Last of Us, and I really love that they made that change. The Neil Drucker, he's the one that
Neil Druckmann.
Druckmann, he came up with the game, right? He was the creator, like one of the creators of the game. He was so mad at Craig Mazin, who's the showrunner and also created the show, that he thought of it and Neil didn't. That's how good it was.
Wow.
So
wow. Well, that's exciting.
But it made me think, like, how many times have you know, has a like something that's been adapted, or even something that has been adapted, how many times have we had characters that we really love and they were changed, or like a minority was represented in that, and like, you know, did it impact it? Did it make it better? Did it make it worse? And not having played the game, I I fell in love with Sam, and I think I would have even if he was able to hear. But the boy that they got to play him is amazing. And like, people on set were learning sign language, and like it was an amazing experience. And it just made me think, like, how many times do we see that? How many times do we celebrate that somebody who may not have all of the abilities that we have, all the senses we have, everything, that all of the, you know, what we consider normal, which I hate that word, but you know, how many people, like, we don't see it that often, and we really haven't. You know, this is, you know, people have been around for a really long time and have had issues and different perspectives and aren't cast in things. And so I thought, you know, I kind of wanted to talk about it and get everybody's like opinion on it.
That's phenomenal.
Well, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
One of my favorite like horror movies is Hush, which is about a deaf mute woman. There's a lot of sign language. I know the actress herself isn't deaf or mute.
It's Molly Ringwald, I think, who actually plays that woman in Hush. If I'm correct,
there's no way that's Molly Ringwald.
Morgan. Well, I just remember Molly Ringwald played a character that's very like that. That's why I thought it was her. I don't remember.
No, it's not her in Hush though. It's some other actress. I can't remember her name. But anyway, it's still a good movie because it does take that into account of how that impacts somebody in the situation that they're in. At the same time, like, it's something that because we don't encounter so many people that have that, it's not normalized in story time. It's not something that we have a lot of perspective on, because how do you write about that unless you lived it? So, you know, taking a very small group of people and asking a very specific perspective and how we can throw that out there. I know that Coda was a big, huge movie, though. Wasn't that like the movie of the year last year? That dealt a lot with that too. And I know that in that movie, the actresses were learning sign language. There was some deaf representation within the cast.
I think like the two main characters were deaf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is interesting to see how we're starting to see a bit more of that going on. What is it? The one I keep talking about on Netflix, the Dragon Prince.
Oh, Dragon Prince.
Yeah, there's some character that uses sign language in that one too. So that is really cool.
And she is a badass.
She is a badass. I fucking love her. I want to design a character after that with a shield / like bladed kind of thing. But
awesome.
it would be interesting to try to see something more with like the blind perspective, but also at the same time, you couldn't really do that movie from their perspective.
Right, exactly.
I'll tell you what. One thing that I absolutely fell in love with at the beginning, I really didn't think it was going to be great. This was a few years ago, but the first season of Daredevil blew me the hell away.
Yeah.
It was so unbelievably good. And it was nice because a lot of the show writers, you know, took him into, like, you were in his world. You know, it wasn't, the perspective from the comics was like, you know, you get the story between him and Kingpin and everything, but like those first few episodes when he was learning how to fight and how to communicate and how to just kind of navigate blind was wow. Like it was just amazing film work. I loved Daredevil.
And one thing I really love about it, because it's really true. I know I actually grew up around a blind piano tuner. And
Really?
what's great, oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah. He was one of my grandfather's best friends. He still calls me like every Christmas and birthday. Basically, we have long talks. So I call him like my other father, and he's like, oh, it's the other daughter. It's really sweet. He's just been in my around my family for years and years, over 20 years at this point. And but he was a blind piano tuner. He could do so many things. Like he could fix brakes. He could cook food. He was blind it's entirely his whole life. Like he was blind in one eye. He could see sort of until he was about 26, and then it's because he was born prematurely, and they had to put him in a incubator, and they just didn't know how to care for the eyes, because this was in the 50s.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately he had retina burns.
Yeah, I was gonna say the eyes are one of the last things that develop.
Yeah.
And so if he was premature, that was something for my son they were worried about.
Well, that explains Eli's glasses now too. Shoot.
So he was able to take care of so many things. So he was not, he could hear better than most people. Like he could just smell things.
Yeah.
Like he knew, he tinkered with like CB radios, or he still does. He tinkers with them. He still does all this stuff. He taught other blind tuners. Like it's really cool. Like he did everything with his hands and his ears and smell. And he was just the only thing he really couldn't do obviously was drive. He's like, oh, I've done that once. I could tell by the he has the best sense of humor too.
He did bumper cars.
There you go.
Yeah, he's one of my inspirations, and I think we should show that blind people aren't as disabled as we make them out to be.
Yeah,
because they're extremely resilient.
I'm still hoping for the Kill Bill sequel to have Elle Driver come back as a blind samurai, because that big ass question mark at the end tells me that's happening.
Oh yeah,
that's just me.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Fun enough, there is a new show on Netflix too. It's a thriller called Chromosome 21, and it's about a guy with Down syndrome, and it's like this mystery of, is he the mastermind? Is he the victim of this crime that involves his brother? And it's a fun, thriller mystery, but it's also entirely in Spanish. I want to say it's Colombian, but I could be wrong.
Is it muy caliente?
It's a good watch. I liked it. His brother's sexy too. Ooh, this lead guy, scrumptious, will just say the least. I will say though, any heist that you're gonna do and you have a tattoo that's like very noticeable on your neck, cover that shit up, bitch. Are you a newbie? Good watch. It's a good watch.
Oh God, Dave. Do you think there is any sort of minority that needs a little more representation in TV or movies nowadays? Do you think there's a group of folks who kind of need more attention?
Not really. I mean, as long as a story is interesting and carries a good plot, what's it matter who actually plays in it? I mean, minority or not.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, I can see that. My thing is that
so what I'm getting at is that I see a lot of these movies and shows. None really jump out at my mind right now, but there's some movies where they're throwing extra minorities into it in a virtue signaling way, and that's actually kind of annoying. It doesn't matter if I'm probably not saying it right.
Rings of Power got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, like
you have like black and Middle Eastern hobbits now. Okay.
Harfoots are actually Harfoots are darker skinned than other hobbits.
I think that's speaking to what Dave was talking about, though, is that like we see like race swapping happen a lot to push more diversity, but it's taking over properties that didn't really have that representation to begin with. For me, it's the fact that it's like every single redhead sex pot character automatically is now cast as an African-American lead no matter what. every time. Every time, without fail.
That's what she's like, yeah.
That's fine. I love Zendaya better than I liked What's Her Bucket as Mary Jane, so that's okay. But
who was that?
For
Kirsten
some
Dunst.
reason, Anthony, I
Kirsten
thought you were
Dunst.
going
Kirsten
to
Dunst.
Starfire. I really
hated
did.
her as Mary Jane. She was terrible. That was not a good role for her.
What about
for her in an Interview with the Vampire?
Hey,
So-
what about Starfire?
She
Because that's
was
exactly
great.
who I thought of when you said that.
Starfire is a different one too, because I wouldn't have gone that route either. I would have made her Latina.
You
I can see
know, that
see it.
I mean,
yeah,
she's an alien,
yeah.
technically. I mean, she's from
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
planet. Who cares?
Yeah, but like something about her like body language and personality is very Brazilian. I don't know why.
No, I'm
Like,
not saying that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
she's
That would
just
be the artist
like, it's
rendering.
fine. Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
look, George Perez is no longer with us. He created that character with Marv Wolfman. Let's be respectful. Yes, he did make her well endowed, and she had a metal bikini on,
what?
basically.
There's female comic book characters that are well endowed.
no.
She was
Never,
one.
not
You know
all of
what?
them.
It's not
She
the
was one of
90s
the
anymore.
first. Yeah.
Rogue, Storm, Jean Grey just all happen to have very similar body types. It's
Wait.
There's a minority
Rogue
that
didn't
maybe they should
originally have
start with
boobs that big. By
women
the
with
way.
flat chests in movies.
Yeah.
How about that?
There's a minority.
Okay,
Okay.
fair
There we
enough.
go.
Let me just tell you, I've been working on a private story of mine where my main character is a very short, petite, flat-chested girl, and she does definitely have that as a complex with her. Like the
Is her
fact that
name
she's shorter,
Juno?
the fact that she's not as well endowed, like she's this little spitfire badass that is so pissed off because
gonna say
people always
Daria.
give a shit about it. So like, that's my main character. She's awesome.
And that's true. Like that's a true thing. What we may consider a minority, others may not consider a minority, But no, I agree. I don't necessarily. I would, Latina Starfire would have been fantastic.
I know. I would have had no
the
problem
actor
with
they
Latina-
have for her,
Latina actor.
she's not. I don't hate her.
I mean,
but
I think if they play the character well. I don't.
yeah,
care.
she does.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
she does
bother
a
me.
really. They do a really good job. I mean, I agree with that. But no, as soon as Anthony said Latina, I was like, oh yeah, So if I guess there you go,
And
DC.
it would be nice to see a
when you
bit
bring the
more of that
Titans in.
diversity of range of diversity, if that makes sense. Like
I don't
I
know.
don't see a
Well,
whole lot of Asian leads in parts. I certainly don't remember a Pakistani lead in anything.
Mhm.
Like Lodi actually has a pretty surprisingly large Muslim and Middle Eastern community here,
Really?
and I can't think of a single sitcom or series that like looks at the American lifestyle from that perspective. But
Miss
we have
Marvel.
Convenience.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. Well, isn't
Miss
she-
Marvel, they're Pakistani.
Okay.
They were.
I
from
thought
Pakistan.
she was Hindi.
Well, so they're
That doesn't matter. That's the religion.
they're
not the-
Muslim. They're
Well, I thought
Muslim.
Hindi was the language.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
Muslim, and her grandparents had to leave India and go to Pakistan when the partition happened.
Right.
And so they were in India, but then they had to go to Pakistan, and then they moved to then her mother ran away to New Jersey and met her father, and so that's it. But yeah, they are actually from Pakistan.
Okay, so
Had
we
to
got
leave India.
one.
Right, we've got
And
one.
She's named after another character also known as Miss Marvel, which is also Captain Marvel, but all of them are different.
Right.
So
They're well, we could talk about the terrible, that terrible movie that should not be mentioned. That was terrible at representation. That
Batman and Robin?
had some. Oh, that one's
Which
so
one?
bad.
No,
That
I know.
one's
We
I
scrubbed
know
maybe not
that.
that one, but that one is so bad.
We scrubbed that. We scrubbed it. No,
I don't know
no,
what
that
you're
movie never
talking about,
happened.
That
so
movie
I'm
never happened.
lost.
Let's talk about it.
You talking about
No,
the Last
you-
Airbender?
Yes, of course I'm talking about the Last Airbender.
Of course.
Oh,
you
yeah,
talking
no,
about
that
Airbender.
one does not exist.
It does not exist. But-
Mortal Kombat
But the
2.
one thing that I liked, that they did do, and I wish they just did
I'll be
not
right
do
back.
enough with it. I wish they had done more with I liked the actors that they had casted for Iroh and please help me with my
Zuko?
brain. Zuko.
Zuko.
I actually liked Zuko's actor. I thought he was very interesting. I would have liked to have seen him do more. I just didn't like the direction. The direction was awful. But I didn't think he was a bad actor. I thought he was very interesting and very dynamic.
No, but even
Who's-
that
Not given enough to do.
so intrinsically based out of Asian culture.
Oh, I know. I
made no sense
understand. I
not to
understand.
do it that way.
I understand that they are also trying to make it so it's more like a world dynamic. I get why. I'm just saying. I understand
And
why.
that's just it. It's a lot of we have to make everything fit the world that we live in America, which is not
I didn't
necessarily
think it
how
was
the
that, but
world
with
is.
the world. Yes.
Okay, so that actually brings a very good question. So if we were casting directors and we were writers and whatnot, how would we go about creating a series, creating a movie, creating a story where it doesn't seem like the diversity is so forced? Like, how do we get across to audiences that we can have a South African character without putting up the image of our movie is so diverse, look at us, there's more people than just white people here? Like, I feel like a lot of shows tend to do that and like rub it in your face. Like,
Star Trek does it. Yeah.
Well, okay,
Star Trek
most
does it
of the 90s
remarkably
did it
well.
better than we do it today because it was more organic. We saw a lot of different representation in different shows.
Blade is one of the most progressive, non-racist movies I have ever seen, and I mean
Star
that.
Trek absolutely does it
With
very
Star
well.
Trek too, and Star Trek does it extremely well. But Blade, Blade is one of the best. Blade is just, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, it's not. It's fantastic.
But, okay,
it's
I think to take it out of the context of outer space, which doesn't have the boundaries of like continents and things like that in play, if you're trying to build a new world property or a new like cinematic universe in a fantasy world or something, world building is very essential in creating different cultures and races and basically building characters around those and having it be impactful to their character. So, like, if you're going to have a representation done naturally, it needs to be done with the context of they have their own backstory that plays to why they are the way that they are. And whether this other group doesn't understand them or not is not a consequence of that. Like, this is who I am. That's who
right.
Versus just like having random characters like, we have to check off the list. And this is the 90s did this terribly. You have to have the popular white kid with the back turned hat. You need to have a nerdy girl. You need to have a redhead. You need to have one black kid who usually plays basketball and is the cool one. You have to do the one kid with glasses and the one kid with like a handicap. That was like you just described that was Velma. The entire Burger King Kids Club in a nutshell.
Glee.
So, it's Glee.
It's also Captain
every
Planet.
That's when
it's also the X-Men. I mean, that was exactly what all of that was.
The original Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Color coded, for God's sake, dear Lord, they just really did that one on the
head. You know what show did well, I think, with diversity was The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I mean, representation.
So there's a solution right there. More zombie movies. You can have every race.
You know what
they just
show
might
did
all be
terribly
dead.
on diversity? Friends. You're telling me New York was that white? No, that's a lie.
Yeah, I agree.
Did it better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I loved about Blade. I keep going back to Blade. Blade's great for that. I know I have such a thing. Wesley Snipes. Anyways, but Blade is so good for that because they showed that, but they didn't be like, we're being diverse in this. It was just, that was how it was, and it was very real to life. That's what I loved about it.
Is it? Would you guys say it's more about finding the right character, and it doesn't matter what color their skin is, as long as they represent the essence of that?
Yeah. So as a writer, as someone who can speak, because I've been writing stories for years, what my process usually is I look at the character's story, the background, where all of that would have maybe taken place. Like if I had a character who had their background, in the Middle East, something, of course they would be Middle Eastern if that was something. Right, yeah. Just, again, it's that you have to at least have that set up for there. I have a Western that I'm writing that features a Black man, a Chinese man, and it's during the 1880s, right before the Jim Crow laws take place. And it's about having all of those, how those people interact with each other. And it becomes more about the story. It doesn't become that that's what these people, that's necessarily who they are as
That
characters.
does beg the question of if it takes place in our world, in this Earth, or if it's
Sure.
something that's a fantasy world.
Well, I have a character who's a mage who's from the desert, and so they're obviously very ethnic looking, and they have a completely different viewpoint than anyone who's like in America. So you just have to kind of go with who the character is and what. And the other thing I would say is be well versed in it, like understand, like try to get a perspective from someone who is of color to see if you're doing it right. If this was the character, if this character is from this place, from this history, am I doing a good job of this?
You certainly want to do your research and like kind of understand a bit about the culture before you just like go and I'm going to
not be like Mulan, not do it to where it's a point where it's like, oh yes, you have
don't
a white,
do it like
you have the
breakfast
whole
at
white.
Tiffany's. That's how
Right.
you don't do it.
Well, what I mean by that is that if you've got people of that religion, or that, not religion, but that area, and they're like, wait, this is a bunch, you did research, but that's not the context of all of that research that you just did, and you're ignored. It's like, wait, okay. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people who are like, I know all this stuff about Japanese people, and it's like, and then they pronounce all these words wrong.
And then it becomes what's his name from Parks and Rec, who just has that hibachi and makes eggs with it. What is his name?
I don't know.
I used to know
I just know people. It just drives me nuts.
I don't know. He was one of the council members.
Like cultural, actual like cultural things, and it's like, oh my god, like don't just stop. I mean, it's those. You know what I mean? You know those kind of people. I'm not saying that it's everyone, but it's like we gotta just be. I think that's where the virtual signaling maybe comes in.
When it's not done right, then it really does look like that.
Well, but when it's shoehorned in and it feels shoehorned in because it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So before we move forward, let's give a shout out to some folks in the chat right now.
Yes,
James from our sister channel, Distance Nerding.
Jamel.
We have Thomas. Thomas, thank you for being a supporter. You are just the greatest. We got Danny.
James, I have to say, he said nothing says diversity like Danny Osmond singing the main song. Yes, but you know what? Most people who are of Chinese descent actually say that movie is way better than the one that they got that has a whole Chinese cast. And they are praising that movie for being more like the actual like culture of China. That's when you have a problem. And the 90s, Mulan is fantastic.
Just talking about Mulan. And yes, the first Mulan movie when it came out was a big deal because it was like the first Asian Disney princess. And
staying as a bisexual icon.
Relative storyline and putting it on the main screen. Now, of course, they took a lot of liberties, but the remake one was just so over the top and completely missed the point of what made the character special. Like that's why it's a condemnation. Like,
when you have actual Chinese people who know about the history and actually coming out and being like, oh my God, you absolutely do. You went and did all this stuff and you got all these things in China, but you literally know nothing of what you're talking about. You have no
it's like they watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden
there.
Dragon, and they were like, wait a second, let's do it more like that.
Yeah.
But like the Western version. Like it was bizarre.
It's even worse. It's so bad.
Did you guys see Raya and the Last Dragon? Have you guys seen that?
I did watch it. It was just okay.
See, I loved it. It's my favorite. Like, I even like it more than Encanto.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I can't back up that statement. I'm sorry.
I can't. I'm on the same side.
It's not a popular opinion, but I really do love Raya and the Last Dragon. It may be Awkwafina being
it had a lot of good concepts, but everything was so rushed in that movie. I didn't get to know what was going on in the locale. The characters just kind of got globbed on out of nowhere. No one had these real big arcs. Like it was just a lot of shit happening in that movie.
It's the layman.
It was all about these two being friends all along. Like
being as good or as long. That's what I've heard it being called, is basically like the shoe-in of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but
Well, and don't
terribly
get me wrong,
written.
Encanto has
But-
the same issue with there's so many characters we don't get enough time with them for them to really be that relevant to the story. Like,
But it had
there's at least
music
4 characters
by
in Encanto you can cut
Lin-Manuel
out, and it
Miranda.
really wouldn't change anything except for the song "We Don't Talk About Bruno." But I still really liked Encanto. It makes me cry. That fucking
Oh
ending,
yeah.
dear
I
God.
actually like Encanto. I thought it was
But between that and like,
Oh, I love Encanto.
What's up,
Coco.
Scholar Monk?
Between
Hey,
Coco
Scholar
and
Monk.
Encanto, I'd still take Coco.
Isaac Woodruff. Hello.
Isaac, where the hell you been?
There's subjective viewpoint and there's objective. What you're talking about is purely a subjective viewpoint. Like, I like it no matter what, and that's your opinion, and it's perfectly fine because you like it, and I'm not, and I don't want to yum. I don't want to yuck your yum of it. Like, don't shame it.
With you.
Y'all,
It's
my
just
skin,
like you get
my
more.
skin is way thicker than that. Don't
Oh,
worry
I know.
about it.
I'm just saying for the chat. I'm saying for everyone in the chat too. Just because we're discussing this thing, and there's a big difference between objective viewpoint and subjective viewpoint. Some of what we're talking about is subjective, and then there is objective.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. I just wondered because we
wanted to
were
bring
talking
this
about Mulan. I was like, hey, I know Raya, the last dragon. I love dragons and Aquafina being like the last dragon. I don't know. It was just
I
cute.
feel like
I watched it
Aquafina
after
and Tiffany
Shang-Chi.
Haddish are the same type of comedian where they just do the same character for everything, and that's just what that's going to be.
But Jen, do you know
Yeah.
how to train your dragon?
Which
I
is a
ha-
better
I've
dragon
seen
movie.
It's a way
one.
better dragon movie.
I love that.
Toothless is the best. Changed my mind.
They made a Pokemon out
I
of
know
it.
how
Come
to choke
on.
my
I
dragon.
know they did, didn't they? Oh, Dave, there it is. This is why
No,
we need you, Dave.
Dave, in your absence, you would be very, very proud of me.
Hey!
I've dropped at least one F-bomb for the last like 17
It's
shows
true.
we've done.
It's true.
I don't believe you. Prove it.
It is the fucking truth, brother.
Make up for all 17 right now.
You cut out right
Hey,
there.
man,
I didn't hear it.
Okay, nice.
Hey,
Oh, look, it's
Thomas.
our leader. Where the hell
Thomas.
you been?
Hey, it's Van. it's Orc.
Oh my god, my computer's.
Walk. Walk.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Hi.
Just keeping us
Vinny
afloat,
Van
man.
Dam.
I'm getting caught up on
Hi-
these comments
hi,
here.
Daddy
Holy
Man.
crap, Danny!
Danny,
It's your
why?
boy, Van.
Danny.
I apologize for unleashing the Danny upon you. Once we get past this Sabers, maybe he will calm the fuck down.
Yeah. I don't. What?
Hey guys,
And I say that's a strong maybe.
so speaking of which, it's pretty cool because Kyber Cave's channel is now literally almost upon its first 1,000 subscribers. We are like right there. I say we make
15
a push so we can
away.
get yeah, let's get to
Thomas,
1,000 by Sunday so that
Woo!
the
So we
big
can do the
giveaway
Pixel
can happen
Saber.
and I can get my NeoPixel Saber and all will be well with the world.
Well, maybe
But-
Just,
you
you
think
know-
you
Wait,
want
hold on.
there.
Hold on. I went into things. I went into things a little prematurely. I put up that posting because we were like 36 away this afternoon, right? So my goal was to miss it this Sunday and hit it next because, and there is a reason for this, because we just had KyberCon this last weekend and we had ordered 2 Dark Sabers, but they were completely sold out and they're not coming back until this Tuesday. So I can't reorder them until this Tuesday. So I was hoping we would hit it next Sunday, but like everybody got super excited and started subscribing. I was like, oh crap, slow down. I'm about to blow my load too early.
So look at Thomas.
So-
Thomas says,
so-
so
Thomas,
15
you're
of us
so
make another
excited.
account, we'll get to
So-
1,000.
And then
I just love it. Van's like, okay, look. I
Um,
need you all to
goodness.
just subscribe on Monday so we can do it next Sunday.
It's a scheduled subscribe.
right.
Thomas, I'd like to hear. I mean,
Plus-
I would love to hear.
Plus,
your-
Mezzos, I don't know if you.
by the way, your take about minority representation in media. I want to hear from you.
Mezzo's son today for his YouTube. because he wants to be the subscriber.
Van, you're cutting in and out, dude.
You are
Yeah,
cutting
you
in
are.
and out,
Yeah, you're-
and it's very
Wait, I
hard
told.
to
What did you?
Ben, you,
Huh?
Who are you talking to, Aubrey?
You're cutting in and
Who is
out.
Aubrey talking to?
You.
Whoa!
You're cutting in and out.
Who are you talking to, Aubrey? Oh, me? Oh,
You're cutting in and out. Yes.
oh, okay. Hold on. Let me refreshing. Keep it going, y'all. Keep the
Force
Party
is
going.
just like, I'm done.
And I'm done. And I'm spent. I am done.
did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Oh my gosh.
Done.
We'll get $1,000. Thomas. Oh my God, Thomas.
Thomas, I love Thomas. He's so awesome.
We'll get back to you on that, Thomas. Okay.
Oh, you're so funny. Just
You didn't say anything about
Monday.
$1,000.
Eli.
You've got nuts.
It's
The Wild Nuts has joined the
The
channel.
Wild Mezzo has appeared.
Look at
Nice.
that.
It's Agent M.
How are you, mommy?
Maybe because my kid is sleeping right there.
Oh, that is
Just
just
one
magical.
thing.
Hey,
So she's
everybody
going to
gi-
do her bedroom voice.
Everybody, give a shout out to Eli, the handsome
Hi,
man, and the handsome
Eli.
man here.
Hi,
Oh, it's Eli. There he is. Hi, Eli.
Eli.
I'm being quiet because my sick child is sleeping.
Oh, wow.
He,
I can't wait for us
Basically-
to get together and have a dinner together, you two. It's going to be so great.
that'd be fun.
Anthony,
Excited.
get him on a computer so he could chill with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy's like, whatever.
Like, whatever.
Ah.
We're getting so many people. Getting so many responses.
Yes, James,
So
it was
funny.
wonderful to see you all. Gosh, I do sound like
Hi,
I'm trying to do a bedroom
James.
voice.
It's
Sorry, I didn't know my mic was muted.
Bedroom voice.
That's
How dare
okay.
you, Anthony.
I
Are
just
you
thought
using
you
the
were.
Thor's voice?
I thought you
Being
were
very
being.
quiet. Me.
Yeah.
I thought you were just being coy.
Oh, I even
Husky
said
and
hello and I missed it. I was like, oh, I was being ignored. Okay,
Dog.
never mind.
This is
Chocolate.
really funny. You know.
See, minorities, chocolate labs.
Oh.
Aw.
You got a
You
black
know,
one.
while like it's funny, while so there is something I do. I think I've said it before in Kyber Cave. I don't know if I've told this kind of story, little antidote before. It is about more minority representation in media, and it's kind of one of the fails of it. Anthony had fun. So, talking about Star Trek, how it's been very diverse and all those things. Divorce. I don't know why I said that. So apparently they had so for Star Trek Voyager, they had someone who's a representative or said to be a representative of the nations, of the free people, which are the Native American nations, come in to help with the Chakotay character to do it right. Correct. Turns out the guy was a liar.
All talk that way.
And made up a lot of stuff up. So they ended up getting a lot of things wrong. And it wasn't out of they really tried to do their best and get somebody, and this guy was just a really good liar. And
that's
dumb and
another
didn't
thing.
say.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's like,
So a lot of shit that they had, like, then they finally they didn't realize it until quite a bit into the series, after it came out, that mostly probably because free people finally got wind of it and were like, we don't know this guy. This guy's not part of any tribe.
Yeah.
And then they found out afterwards. But yeah, that's why some of the stuff with Chakotay is a little janky, because it was some dude making it up. Like, and he had, and the thing is he had made like fours represent like stuff that that had evidence that he was part of a tribe, like that was like papers for a tribe or whatnot. So it was like they were completely fooled, and they should have just done better background, better paperwork for it, better, I don't know if paperwork is the right one, but the better
Stop
investigation into it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or
yeah, that's
vetting.
one thing where I think they
Yeah,
had
they could have
a
vetted.
fail. They needed to vet him better.
Yeah.
So that was a big representation fail. Even though I love Chakotay, and he's like one of my favorite characters.
Well,
Chakotay forever. I'm a Chakotay stan forever because Robert Bertrand is. Am I saying his name right? I think that's his name. I'm pretty certain.
I think
Robert
that's who,
Beltran is fantastic. He is an amazing actor. I stan him forever. Love him. He's just love him.
So then there's also so we've got. Do we have more representation? Do you feel like has it gotten better in the last 15 years?
There's absolutely more representation.
Absolutely better. There's definitely more. Absolutely.
That's undeniable.
I think to Aubrey's point,
so too. Yeah.
I think to Aubrey's point, there needs to be it needs to be more natural. Like the environment needs to just be all inclusive. It should not have to feel like Anthony was saying, like a checklist. Like having characters in stories should not be a checklist. As much as I want to say that I did like the story of Rings of Power, and I did enjoy watching it for what I could stomach.
So bad. It's not good.
But I did feel like even though a lot of the characters fit where they were naturally, yes, it did feel like a casting director was like, got that in place, and got.
I had too many questions. It's so bad.
I hate that so much. It works with Star Wars. It works with Star Trek. It works with some fantasy stuff.
Hold on. I know. Hold that thought.
Rings of Power. Golly, I just wish it didn't feel so darn forced. Because it really is a lot of fun. It's a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Premiere Mommy.
I rarely get to speak on Friday nights.
Then get your speak on, woman.
Get your speak on.
I'm just being quiet because he's asleep right there. He's got like a cool compress on his head, and he's got a cool.
Just admit it. You're doing your bedroom voice.
Honey, you don't know my bedroom voice.
Oh no, that's what she does all Southern Belle.
It sounds just like this.
Oh yeah.
Y'all need to stop it.
So when it comes to representation, like Forrest talked about a checklist, I think unless it's specific to the storyline and a vital part, anyone should be cast based on talent.
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
so like, you're not gonna go have a movie like Glory or Django Unchained and have white people play people who are supposed, who are black and historically and stuff. So unless it's like vital to the storyline, just cast based on talent.
Absolutely.
That's I guess what I thought.
Did you guys talk about Last of Us?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's how that's where I came from. There's a lot.
Okay,
because go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say that the one thing about Last of Us, and I don't know if this has been said already, so I apologize. But what I thought was really interesting was like I didn't see as much of that woke backlash with the Last of Us episode as I tend to see when even like in I guess Buzz Lightyear they were holding hands or there was like one little kiss scene. It seems like on the things where it's just one little tiny thing, people freak out.
We didn't talk about Bill and Frank. We talked about Sam and Henry, and Sam being deaf. That's what we talked about. So we hadn't talked about that. So you're perfect, man.
Well, there we go.
It was kind of a similar thing where Wednesday nights we talk about physical and mental disabilities in media. Yeah. And so they talked about blindness and deafness, and so that was kind of so quiet. It's so weird to be so quiet. That was kind of what you discussed. But yeah, I know that you're referring to Bill and his partner in the game.
Right.
And I love it. They only imply it in the game, though. They only imply it.
He just says
third episode. I'm telling you,
I haven't seen the show,
Aaron.
but I've seen the game because I watched it. I watched Force and Aubrey play it. I'm sorry. Am I over speaking?
No, he just doesn't want to be spoiled. No, that third episode is
I'm just talking about the game as well.
Yeah.
No, because it's not. It's only implied. They actually. I mean, it does. It's not like he doesn't.
In the game, he just says.
I heard that they actually have a sex scene in that show.
I love that you waited until Force put it
back on.
Get ready, gay sex scene.
I was like, yeah, they're totally together. They were partners. And remember we were talking about this in the gameplay, but it's only implied. He doesn't ever specifically come out and say it that way.
No.
Actually, he
In
does.
Heavily
Well, not
implied.
to
does.
spoil
In-
too much for you there, Forrest, but obviously, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you've heard that it is not just implied in episode
Right.
3. They really go through a lot to show you, this relationship. But what my bigger point to it was that it just didn't seem like I saw as much. Now, of course, some people are, you're going to have your people out there that are going to yell about anything that they see. But I really didn't hear as much backlash and much of this woke anger as I usually do for movies that literally will have like a second of an implication of a gay relationship, and then families, people start going crazy. But this movie, this couple was full on, there was no way to deny it. And people were but I feel it was because it's kind of like what you guys are talking about. The story served it. It wasn't just
Right.
forced in there or made you to feel, like you were checking off another box. This was a story about these two people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
You can have people that are going to
exactly.
scream anyways about it, but there are a lot of things why people get upset. It's like, oh, it's just it. There's no reason for it. It just comes out of left field, and you're like,
Yeah, it's that kind of
And
stuff.
it-
Well, yeah,
and I
mean,
think that's just terrible storytelling. Really, where it really comes down to is just awful storytelling. Versus like these are characters that you see the natural conclusion going that way. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I wonder because like I really think we did start seeing it like late 80s, early 90s, and it was almost like it was a knee-jerk reaction to, oh gosh, we've got to represent everyone because we're getting flack for it. And so they did the checklist and they
I feel
finally
like
went,
the 80s, 90s
this
did it better,
doesn't
though.
work.
Yeah, you're right, James.
Like there
In
was just
some
a lot
ways.
of more produced films back then that were, showing a lot of diversity, and they were awesome. I mean,
Some of them did them
amazing.
really, yeah, some of them did it really well, but there was that string of just, okay, we have to have the gay best friend. You know what I mean? And it was like,
yeah, and I think it just depends on like the genre too. One thing that I will say that I have found, like especially in the 90s, like you've got like I keep going back to Wesley Snipes. I just can't help it. But he chose a lot
There's that detail that you said you were going to fixate on.
I told you to fix that. All this unnecessary character stuff, unnecessary details. That have this has relevance at least to the thing, but this is an unnecessary detail. But the whole thing about like one thing I'll say, like Wesley Snipes like made it a point to choose stories that were progressive, that did have a lot of diversity in them, that had good stories, that weren't just a cliche thing. He's like, no, I can be just as much of a lead as any white guy, as any white man can. So let me show you, and I could be intelligent. Like, I can be
I can be funny.
I thought that was Denzel Washington. Shoot.
He could do that. I mean, he did too. I'm not saying that they didn't, but I mean, if you watch a lot of Wesley Snipes' earlier films, like there's quite a few, not just the action ones, but it's like, holy shit, like you have the main characters are all people of color, but they're not done in this very cliched sort of way. It's done as like it serves the story. It's just, they're just really good.
I was obsessed with him as Noxzema. I was
gonna say he can be funny. He can dress in drag. Right. He can do a lot of stuff. Wesley.
I will say the person pulled it off so well. Chris Rock is an icon. Just saying. Because Chris Rock did Fifth Element, and man, did he pull that shit off so
Chris
well.
Rock.
Yeah, that was
no Chris Tucker. I'm saying
Chris Tucker. Yeah.
Sorry. Not Chris Rock. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker.
Ruby Rod.
I keep telling Eli he needs to do him for Halloween.
That role so bad.
James,
he needs to be
I agree
Ruby
with
Rod
you.
for Halloween.
Nick Offerman was really great in that. They cast Nick Offerman. He was perfect in that episode.
Yes, Wesley had range. That's what I'm trying to say. He had range, and he brings a lot of respect to the role. I'm not saying Denzel Washington didn't either, or Morgan Freeman, or Will Smith. I'm just saying it was something that he was consciously making these choices for these parts that showed range of care. Like, you don't need to cast us in these cliched things. I think there are a lot of other amazing actors that too. Avery Brooks from Star Trek is an amazing example of that.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of things that broke that mold too. I'm not saying that he didn't. I think it's great to have that.
How about
You
throw
can even
all
get back
the
to the
minorities
original
into one?
Sydney.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Everybody was talking
I was
at
gonna
once.
say,
And
how
I
about we
felt
throw all the minorities into one character? They need to have a show or a movie that has a paraplegic autistic midget who's biracial, blind with a lisp.
Wow.
And gay.
That just sounds.
Dissociative identity
This
disorder.
sounds. See, this is just that just totally made it sound so. It's like it's the point. The point was here, and it got missed.
yeah.
Welcome home,
It's-
Dave.
Yeah.
Welcome
I
home, Dave.
derailed that on purpose.
One thing I wanted to
I
mention.
derailed that
like,
on purpose. You can look it up in the internet. You can find anything on the internet.
So
Um,
to bring,
What would we
to bring
do
it
without
Sewong
the
is a
back.
internet?
really good point. By the way,
Um,
Sewong, it was so nice to meet you in person.
Yes, Sewong,
It
it
was
was wonderful. to meet you in
awesome.
person.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Mostly
it's great.
in
I
So-
really love hearing your guys' input on this discussion too. Feel free to chime
One
in.
second.
As soon
Yeah,
as I saw Say Wong, I was like, "Why always give me shit, Say Wong? Get off my back! I don't want stress, Say Wong."
We actually encouraged him to
Why
talk.
did M go? Why did M run away? M, don't run away.
I
What did we
think
forget? What are you talking about?
I think maybe her son woke up
Oh,
and she's trying to get him back.
dumbass. What do
Comfortable.
you mean by you forgot Asian? What do you mean?
No, he was saying
I need
that
context.
in that whole thing he forgot they need to be
To that-
Asian too.
I
Wait, what?
said
I'm
I said
confused by the
biracial. So I
context.
mean, you could put a couple different races. That's
Biracial,
implied.
yeah.
You
Oh,
can
you
be whatever.
forgot. Oh, Asian.
Next
I
topic.
forgot to say. I did.
Yeah,
forget
let's
to
do
say
the net. I
transsexual.
think we've not to
I
be
take it
not
very
to
personally,
be
Say Wong.
inappropriate, but I feel like we've beaten this dead horse.
Yeah,
This is a dead horse.
I was
You
gonna say
can-
back to
you can move
subject
it.
as far as
And
like
ruined
if
Last
you
of Us
wanna
for me.
see-
Thanks.
See more stuff and more
You
cultural stuff.
know nothing, Force. You know absolutely
I get what
nothing.
you're saying.
Sorry. That was an outburst. I
I was
apologize.
Spoilers. This wasn't
All
spoilers.
right.
This was spoilers. We already knew. We already
I was
knew
gonna
that
make
was a thing. I'm just
comments,
glad that
but
they
not
gave
today.
it.
Actually, this
Oh, I picked it up.
They gave
Eli,
it
would
the,
you like to
broke
go
the
the
internet.
what they needed.
Come in.
Are you guys
Wait,
ready?
isn't that our second? That's our second topic. Is the internet life before the internet?
Oh,
Damn it!
Well,
That's
he
what I
wanted
was
to
getting
talk.
at.
The last topic,
But
I
yeah,
didn't get to bring
that
it up.
segue went
up.
right over everybody's head. Just like
Yes,
bye-bye.
you're in.
Yeah.
Hello. We love it that you
It's
joined this
Eli.
conversation. We need you to join this conversation, Eli.
I was wondering, like,
hey, it's an Eli.
hey,
Hold
Life
on, he's
Eli.
saying
before
something.
the
Guys,
internet.
he's saying something.
what's everyone's obsession with the Little Mermaid being black?
I don't know.
Why is that so wrong?
It's not.
Context?
What's
Well, I mean,
It-
if it
you
was,
know-
it was.
He's saying
If,
it's
I
awesome.
think that she should be translucent, personally.
Translucent.
What's wrong is the people who find out, that think it's wrong. Those are the people. That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
I always-
Well,
I
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Don't say I don't care.
Oh,
Have
I
you
always
heard
makes me
her
laugh
singing
when, like,
voice?
there's those people like, oh my god, so I just can't stand it. Our representation for redhead and white people are lost. I'm like, well, since you're being ugly about it, your representation, you have that. You got Chucky, right?
There you go.
Merida.
Well, if you want to be ugly on the inside about her being colored, then there you go. Your representation is Chucky.
Although I did
Merida's
hear a
white
YouTuber
redhead.
say that, especially within Disney, whenever they take out a redhead, they replace it with a black character. What was
Anthony
their
said
other?
that
We just talked about this.
earlier.
Yeah, we were
Oh,
talking
were
about
you?
this.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that from
And that is true.
uh,
That
I'm
is
trying to get
something
that.
I
Happens a lot in
know.
Marvel.
Anthony, you're somewhere.
Happens a lot everywhere. Disney, Marvel, happens a lot everywhere.
Well,
But
I
it
mean,
seems particularly that. It's like pick a blonde bitch every once in a while. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, Black Canary, ripe for the picking.
they did
Dude,
that.
Black Canary would be awesome. Be
Oh
black.
no.
Black Canary, yeah, they made her
Question.
African American. Anthony.
Oh, I
Yeah.
never caught
Yep.
that part. I've only seen
Yep.
the Dinah.
Birds of Prey.
You know,
the Harley
Oh,
Quinn
Birds
Birds
of
of
Prey
Prey
did.
movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
the
true.
movie
she
They
didn't
was.
do very
Yeah,
well.
Hey, life before the internet.
Sorry.
Okay.
I feel like the people that were upset about the whole Little Mermaid thing were the same people that were upset about the women Ghostbusters. They're the people that are yelling, you're destroying my childhood or something like that. Or,
Oh, they're also the people saying MCU instead of MCU. It's it's a niche. And
it's stupid.
You know, interestingly,
they're showing themselves.
I'm going to talk to Mezzo. I'm going to talk to them to figure out how to get making footage off my phone. But when
we'll talk about it
when
later.
we had the panels at Kyber. When we had panels at KyberCon, I was in with Eric and with Tommy, and I specifically asked them about that question, about their thoughts on people calling it the MCU, or when they hear, about a lot of the trolls out there. And so hopefully we can get some of these little video clips from KyberCon up. Yes.
Is this from their panel?
Yes.
I have their entire panel already. My husband recorded it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I can get rid of that one off my phone. But I have to say, I got a lot of the panels. I've got a lot of the panels on the phone.
2016 did have a lot of issues and a lot of
one thing that would not be happening right this second if we didn't have the internet.
What's
this? All of this.
Why are you telling me this, honey?
I would never have known any
You're the
of
center
you
square.
without.
Same. The same. I agree.
Now, before the internet, what would you be doing on a night like this?
Playing Super Nintendo.
Blockbusters.
Super Nintendo.
Drinking.
PlayStation.
Dave had something to say.
Writing, maybe?
Dave has something to say.
Spank mags and VHS sex tapes.
There you go.
There you go, Eli. Was it worth it? No. Was it worth it to get David in there for that comment?
At the beginning of the
to give
episode,
Dave some credit, before the internet, Showtime, 11:45,
Skinamax,
Red Shoe Diaries.
Shoe Diaries.
All
Yes.
Never seen
God, Red Shoe Diaries with David Duchovny. Hell yeah. Sorry, I mean, I didn't watch that. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, Van, I'm going to blame you for this following thing. At the beginning of the show, somebody was missing, correct? And I jumped here to start the show, and my sick 9-year-old was still awake at the moment, and got to hear David talk about, I think it was masturbation for a second.
How is that my fault? How am I getting blamed?
You weren't here. You were asleep, sir.
I still listen to entire albums, to be fair.
It's not as bad as when he was sitting here during the dick pic episode.
I feel like I need to go.
He was just sitting here listening.
Kidding.
What episode was it?
I don't think I even here for the dick pic episode because I would remember this.
Yes, you were specifically gone on that episode, Anthony. I remember that because I remember saying this would have been a great conversation if Anthony was here.
I remember that having like the highest viewership we had.
I was not here.
Sewong kind of backpedaled a little bit and said the
When
wake
was
up
this?
call, the majority of negative criticism from Ghostbusters 2016 came actually from women. Anyway, so if it was life before internet and I was this current age, I'd most likely just be watching a movie.
Yeah,
it's a blockbuster kind of night.
Might be writing, but that's pretty much it.
I'd be drinking in a bar with some friends, or watching a movie with friends, screaming into the void.
Yeah, maybe playing video games, or actually maybe doing a D&D. That's probably what I'd be doing. Playing D&D.
Anthony, I got 3 words for you. Final Fantasy 3. That's what.
That is 3 words. So
I mean, I was really young with the internet, so it was really hard for me to remember what it was like without the internet when the internet came. I mean,
I remember being outside a lot more.
I was outside a lot more.
I brought this topic because next year represents the 30th anniversary of the internet.
Oh boy,
1994, and I found this video clip of them on MSNBC when they're talking about, what is this internet? How do you use it? What is it for? What do we send letters to?
It'll be gone in 5 years.
Right, this is just a fad. Nobody's gonna like this thing. 30
even
years
though,
later.
Even though Star Trek did,
James, that
say it was going to happen, and that was something that they did predict it was going to happen, and that was going to be a thing of the future.
They
like video calls,
so
like
much.
this.
Didn't Orson Welles' 1984 also predict a type of internet where they were sending messages through wires or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, and they've
But
had
not
the
quite
internet
like
for
it
a
was.
while. It just wasn't like this, where it's a world wide web. It was all military for a long time.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it was
where
still a
we
bunch
Right,
of
in
screens
colleges that
watching
were
you and
communicating
projecting
to each other.
things to you and
Yeah.
telling you what to do.
Anthony, say that again.
So there's also a bunch of screens that were watching you and
Oh,
And his sound cut off.
no, they're
froze,
frozen.
Anthony.
They're frozen. It's
They
okay.
froze on nose.
Maybe if we sing "Let It Go."
Telling all your NFTs.
You know what's really funny? So
Let it
the
go.
the biggest
let
things.
it go.
Okay.
we got
comes to
too
live
serious. The
streams.
internet took us down.
When it comes to live streams, my gosh, Anthony, a lot of people game, right? Like we have our gaming streams. A lot of people game. And thinking about life before the internet, when my husband and I had our own place, we had 6 people over, and we all just sat there and they watched, like a friend of ours. We watched him for 4.5 hours play Prince of Persia. Like,
Did that all a lot.
like,
yeah.
and I was like thinking, that's like, and then we just took the internet and did it to be able to do it across, across the way. The one thing I think that. One thing, my last point before I end up having to leave, because I can hear he's not having a good time. So the one thing that I don't like about the internet is that I was bullied really, really bad in junior high. And now people can get you if you're online.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Yeah.
My child is now 13. And he is at the age where he can make a social media account, like if we allowed him to or whatever. Like Van was trying to say when he froze earlier, he made a YouTube account today because he wants to be our 1,000th subscriber. Oh, it's really cute.
That's so cute.
So if you see the mighty armadillo in chat, you know who that is.
Oh, cool.
It's really cute. And he spells armadillo wrong on purpose. So.
He's a kid after my own heart.
I'm just
I
glad
love
it's not
spelling.
Yeah, that's very true. NFTs born around before the internet. So I'm trying to make sure that everyone gets their comments in. And
so I think that's one thing that I don't like about the internet. Probably one of the only things is that your bullies, if you are online, can get you anywhere. Even if you aren't even online, they can talk about you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's really, really rough in that sense. And
when I was in high school,
when
I was in high school, I actually got cyber stalked by somebody and was bullied online. So yeah, it's and that's just that was the beginning of it. I can't imagine how bad it is now.
Horrendous.
Even. It's awful. Like I hear about it so often.
I have teenagers, believe me.
I told my son, who's 13 now, I said,
"You guys look like an album cover."
You and
Eli, you're all like,
"Oh, you guys are. It's so cute."
And he's all, "I'm just gonna pet the dog."
He needs to do that. He needs to do that TikTok filter where you prove anything can be an album cover. I told my son, I don't want you getting Discord, and I don't want you having just regular social media. I told him because people are awful. Like there are beautiful people in this world, but there are awful people, and if you don't know what you're doing to protect yourself, you can really fall into really bad scams and traps. And such.
Oh yeah,
not just bullying, scams. And so
go ahead.
The only thing he's allowed to have right now is the YouTube account. And I said, as long as you don't comment, you can hit like. That's fine. Do not comment unless it's like mommy show because you know me,
right?
And that's it. Like just that's it. Because I said, you're not really old enough to handle all that stuff. Not yet.
Yeah. I'm not old enough to handle that stuff.
Girl, you've seen what I've gone through the last few days.
Yes, I have. I know. No, I was going to say reason number 178 that I lucked into my child. He refused to get on social media until he was almost 17. I think he was 18 when he got on social media. I'd say, hey, if you want to get on something, I'll be happy to, help you with that. And we can go through stuff. And he was like, no, I'm not interested in it. I mean, he barely got a cell phone. I think the only reason why he got a cell phone at 13 was because he was going back and forth between me and his dad. And we wanted to make sure that he could get a hold of us no matter what. That's the only reason. And he had 4 people's numbers in his phone until he turned 18. And that's crazy. He was so like disciplined with stuff. And his friends were on everything and posting pics and also, and he was just like, nope, I don't want to do that. And now, he's got his own YouTube channel. He wants to be a director. He's got all this stuff. And he went outside all the time. He would say, okay, I've played my video game for an hour. I need some outside time. I'll be back in an hour. It was just like, didn't have to do that much. So that's why I say
I remember my
out.
childhood of wandering around in the neighborhoods or the backwoods, just unsupervised, and no one was scared. And we, somehow survived that.
Oh, yeah. I like watching these like old true crime shows and stuff from like people that were, and I'm like, how did I survive this long? Because I'm perfect for that. So I would have been like, oh, you have candy? Sure, let me go.
Right. Right now.
Guys, he's getting a little upset, so I'm gonna go.
Right.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Marcel. Tell him we hope he feels better.
I
I'll
will.
have coffee soon. Bye. I hope he feels better.
Eli's going to the store. He needs ZQuil.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Eli, be careful on the road.
Go back.
Be careful, buddy.
Look out for the
Eli,
crazies.
don't take the ZQuil until you get back home. Don't drive on ZQuil.
We're so happy having you on the stream, though.
Yeah,
I want to come on my own laptop one day, but I don't know how to get
Woohoo! Come on.
Yeah,
if you can get on
just let
Facebook,
us
I can
know.
send you the link. It's really easy, I swear.
You'd be our 999th subscriber.
I didn't know you wanted to.
No,
on
that's
your own thing.
Mrs.
I've been subscribed and watch all the time. In
This
other
is the
room.
first time I want to participate.
I don't want to
See,
steal
Eli's
this
getting
time
on.
because
Lies.
hi everybody.
Hi.
You guys, your husband. You guys.
Oh my god.
So I will say the one interesting thing about living in a time period before the internet that I think about with some of these young people is that I feel like we as older people before the internet had more of a chance to be a child. In that we could do stupid things without worrying about somebody recording it or putting it up on social media or having it affect the rest of our lives or future jobs because
we
you've
also didn't
gotten
have
turned
those
into a
things
meme.
influencing us. We had
What was
our
that?
imagination. We also didn't have things like the internet influencing us and how we thought about shit. We had an imagination because we read books. We watched a couple of shows on TV. We had nature and like our outside to go do something with.
Magazines.
We didn't have jack shit.
I just got 3 bags worth of
Lucky
books
to have a
today.
Super Nintendo, okay?
How about this
I
one?
didn't have a Super Nintendo.
How about this one? We didn't have Google.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to look everything up by going to the library and finding the right book.
The Dewey Decimal
and getting-
System. Oh my
Yes.
God.
And encyclopedias.
Funkin'
When
Raggle,
was
baby.
the last time you saw new encyclopedia?
Hey, and you knew it was going to be a great day at school when your teacher rolled the TV in with the VCR on the big wheeled cart. And it's like, oh, here we
Dude,
go.
you know what? I remember seeing the Challenger explosion in my classroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
talk about some traumatizing stuff? I can't believe kids were shown
Yep.
that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was, you were talking about wheeling in the TV, right? That was the big thing. Like, everybody got excited when you saw the cart come in with the TV because you knew you had at least an hour off or you didn't have to do math or whatever.
Seriously.
So, it didn't matter what was on the TV, but at that time, everybody was excited about the space program.
Yeah.
And I remember
Hey, it's
watching
great.
the launching and seeing that explosion, and I just remember the collective teacher looking at the teacher like, "What the fuck do I do right now? What am I supposed to
Oh,
say?"
is that about the Challenger exploding?
Yeah.
That?
That,
Okay, because
millions of kids
I was on.
all over the country were
That
watching
would be
that.
my time too, Aubrey.
We missed
There's-
that. I know you and I are the same age. Yeah.
There
We
is
missed
only
that.
one thing
We had-
more
we had,
traumatizing
9/11.
than that.
Yeah, we
was
had
our
9/11.
tax.
Was what?
That was ours. Ours
Our tax.
was 9/11.
Our
Oh,
text
no.
was more traumatizing than that.
Artex?
Artex.
Horse dying of
Artex.
sadness.
Never.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yes.
So
Artex ruined children.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, and
remember-
the thing with the Challenger, because believe it or not, I was in school when it did blow up, and I did see it in school, just like
Well, we're
Art.
being immortal, you know.
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that's-
I've seen a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of things. Okay, let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, and it was so. I kind of feel like, so I'm a huge space nerd, and one of my favorite series is From the Earth to the Moon. I love that. I love every single one of them, and they were talking about how going to the moon, having astronauts up in space had become such a normal thing that people stopped watching it. People stopped caring about it. And it had become that way when the Challenger went up. And they were like, oh, hey, we're going to show it to all the kids. They knew. Hey, they were like, hey, we've done this so much. This is so routine. And then the one time they're like, let's just let all the kids see it.
Right.
And then it blew up. You know, and then they were like, well, this is never ever going to happen again. We can never do that. And you never know. But it is something like that. Like, if we had the internet, then I cannot imagine what kind of conspiracy theories would be going on, what kind of, you know. And so yes, we are more in touch with each other, and we can do wonderful things like this, and, you know, have friends in different states and see them all the time, and, you know, all this fun stuff. But we sold part of our soul to get this internet, I think, as a society. I mean, we see the worst part of society.
I think you see the best and the worst of society. I think it's both sides. I think the pendulum just swings back and forth.
So let me ask. We'll start with Aubrey and go around. I would be interested to know, now having lived with the internet for 30 years and seeing the advantages we've gotten, along with the disadvantages we've gotten, if you could go back, would you?
I have a quick question. When you say 30 years of the internet,
right?
It's been around longer than all of us.
Yeah,
well,
I was a child.
Not me. I'm immortal.
Commercial internet available to the general public.
Yeah,
1984. 1984.
Right. Well, in 1994 was when it started becoming really more of a commercial thing. I know the universities and the military had it, and were using it for mass communication. But
War Games was in 1984. They had home internet.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it still wasn't as mainstream. What this was pulled.
They did for richer families, I would say, in more upper class echelons of middle class and such. I would say that's probably true. You're right. Yeah.
The reason I came up with this idea is I was on the internet and I saw this clip from 1994. And it was of host of MSNBC news program or whatever it was, and they were talking about this new internet thing and what are you supposed to do with it? Do you send mail or
Hold on, I've got one thing to say about this though. Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry, I have to break it for this because how dare you? How dare you, Janina? How dare you?
How dare
you? Need to respect Falcor more than that. He was a dragon. How dare you? Anyways, sorry. Continue.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, no.
We interrupt you for this ADD moment.
I'm sorry. I can't ever disrespect Falcor like that. I'm sorry.
Were you speaking? I'm so lost. Were you speaking, Graveyard?
Oh, I was just saying. I just didn't know what internet we were talking about because home internet came in, or the World Wide Web was created in 1990. So web pages and websites were made, 33 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was a child. Like, it was. I mean, we got AOL in 1997, 1998. So I mean, I was really young. So it was like I knew about the internet. I was like that. You said more like flying horse / dog, Janina.
I remember having to go. My buddy had AOL, and I remember going to his house, and I remember that was when you used to pay for internet by the minute. Like you used to, and I remember his phone bills back then being like $400 a month, and this is like in the late '80s.
AOL. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, wait,
because they changed
A
it.
Prodigy.
They were paying by the minute, and then they changed it to by the phone call.
Anyone's never seen that movie all the way.
I know. I'm like, what?
It's because it doesn't end. How are you supposed to finish it?
It's never ending.
Well, it is one that I will say I probably fell asleep to a few times.
Anthony! All of you.
Oh my god.
How dare? Okay. Anyways.
Oh, it sounds like
my ears are now bleeding.
That's a staff pick episode.
There you go.
I have too many staff picks. I'm like, a lot of these people have never seen Legend. So many.
I've seen Legend.
You had to go with Legend first, didn't you, honey? You just had to target it, didn't you?
I did. Wow. Exactly.
Stop it.
Can't believe it. Can't believe some people don't know.
Punish the Kyber husband first.
No, that for Graveyard's thing. Yeah, I mean, there were shows like the internet has been around a lot longer than 30 years, and has been has been mainstream. There just wasn't a lot to do. Mm-hmm. There was like, you checked your email. That was the cool thing. Everybody emailed everybody else.
Yeah, you got mail.
They emailed porn. Yes.
Right.
That was the purpose of it.
And funny jokes and recipes.
Yes.
Funny jokes, recipes, and porn. That was it.
And mail.
And people liked it, and that was fine. But then in the 90s, I do think it started getting more like MySpace came out, and you had like Facebook.
MySpace came out in the 2000s.
Right, but I'm saying like all this stuff started coming out, so you had more to do online, and I think that's really
it became more user friendly, and it wasn't just because in the early days it would be like, first off, it would take 2 minutes for a page to download, and it would mostly be text and maybe like one little graphic or two little. On a really high-end site, you might have a couple little graphics, and maybe it would move.
Right. And then Windows came along. So like DOS was the big thing.
He was a dragon. Janina. Luck dragon.
Wow.
All right. Aubrey, Janina, are we going to have to separate you two? I'm on the big screen right now.
I actually felt threatened by that.
No, I just, I think the more stuff that came out for people to do, the internet became more than just a luxury, and now you have to have it to function. And and I was a little older. I was not in school when the internet came out. I mean, I'm immortal, so of course I wasn't. But
I love you.
You guys remember the days of MapQuest?
Yeah, Matt. Look, I was talking about Thomas Guide.
God forbid there's goddamn scheduling for
Thomas Guide.
I'm surprised nobody's brought up ShareBear yet, but
I don't know
ShareBear.
Graveyard, come on.
What is ShareBear?
I have no idea what ShareBear is.
You don't remember what ShareBear is?
Nobody remembers what ShareBear is.
Oh my god, that was
he a Care Bear?
Is that a Florida thing?
No, ShareBear was that person-to-person file sharing program.
No.
Like people would basically.
No, this is your alternate universe, friend.
Yeah, that was a scam. Did you dream this? Were you dreamwalking?
No,
you were dreamwalking.
How.
I have no idea what ShareBear is.
Drink?
I said dream walking.
I remember Napster.
Drinking. Oh, okay. So yeah, there was it was basically the same thing as Napster, but it was like it predated it. But that's basically how people shared. They pirated music and videos, things like that. They would bring up ShareBear, like, dude, can I get this episode or whatever? And they would send it over, and that's how like a truckload of viruses would get on people's computers because people would just be like, load it all up and. That was that. Mm-hmm. But ShareBear was like really bad about that. Napster was bad about it. And
LimeWire.
And there was another one.
Wait, stop. Who's crinkling in their mic?
It's me. I'm trying to open a bag.
Okay, then turn your mic off.
Okay, I'm going to.
What you eating? But yeah, Napster and what was it? LimeWire?
LimeWire.
Okay, trolls. All right, you can get off this chat now. You guys are
Aubrey is getting so keen.
The internet is for trolls.
I was
And there was
doing
another
it
one.
for
There was another
this.
one, something plus plus. I don't remember what that one was, but yeah,
Just,
that's
just
kind
mute
of.
them. Just mute them right now.
Something
Screw you
plus
guys.
plus.
Here's
Were
my
those like
share bear.
were those like torrents? Isn't
They
torrents
were.
Torrent,
another?
yeah, torrent.
Yes.
Torrent was another
Yes.
thing.
And
Here's
people
my share
shared.
bear.
Oh,
Aw,
that orange
Jeremy
flavor.
bear.
Yeah,
Lemon.
the
earliest days of the internet was military, obviously first is DARPANET, and it was used to transfer files. And then in the 80s, with the Commodore coming out, that they had a 1-bit modem that came with the Commodore 64. You're able to plug your phone line into it, and at that point in time, you essentially a direct connection is just for file transfers and email. That was the precursor. That's how the internet starts. You were sharing that stuff, and then eventually we got into websites and selling goods, and then all the viruses and stuff like that.
Not that many years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
right after that was
yeah.
when we had the .com bubble, right? Like in the late 90s. Wasn't that when the
.com started in 1992?
92.
That's when, because AOL existed since 1985, and Google and all that stuff started in the early 90s, and it became publicly traded in the late 90s. That's what the bubble was the trading part of it.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I trust him because he's got a beard.
I also do this for a living, yes.
I know, I felt like we were
It's
just
the
getting
beard.
a little history lesson of the internet right there.
Oh, yeah.
With Professor Graveyard. That was fantastic.
Damn it, you have to learn it too.
But that didn't answer the question, guys. Let's go around and say, if you could go back, would you go back? Do you think as a society we're better now for having the internet, or we're worse off for having it? Have our morals changed? Have how we live our day to life, has it changed to the point where it was better before? What do you guys think?
I think there's a terrible association with just base popularity on the internet giving inherent value. That there's a far too like the sad truth is we're all up on here. We want clicks, we want likes, we want subscribers, but at the same time, there's so many people that are like obscenely wealthy and have these careers, even though they're not like great people or they don't really contribute a whole hell of a lot. Like
or very talented, yeah.
It hasn't been that kind of been the way since the beginning.
Who hit the algorithm just right, and it's like okay, cool. But like they can be terrible role models, and they're not held accountable.
But haven't we had like kings and that were the same exact thing? I mean, how is that any different?
That's the problem. Like, but there's a lot of people that even go around like, oh, I have so many like followers. You should give me shit for free. It's a very sad entitlement thing where this was meant to be like a way of communicating with information, not to necessarily just have clicks and be popular like it's an ever-ending high school. Because that's kind of where it is. There's a very immature quality to the internet that is centered around the likes and the clicks. That's the only people that have a valid voice, and everyone else is just kind of told to shut up.
Yeah, I mean,
or gets lost in the comments, and it entitles people to be assholes. Like people are those keyboard warriors. Like, oh, I could say whatever I want to you in the comments because I'm not saying it to your face. And people say some of like the rudest and terrible comments that you hear. Like that's what I was talking about that with the kids. Like. Cyberbullying is a thing. It's kind of sad that it is like that. And it's because it's so easily accessible.
Because
Anthony
spoke like that.
Wouldn't you say, Anthony, that it's also given a chance for people who may not have had a voice to come together and collectively find a voice?
Not without consequence.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Not without the tools and assets to have it. Again, it became from a luxury to a necessity. And not everybody can afford this shit. So, or even with me, I grew up in a household that didn't have internet access for the most part, even though it was around because we had shitty dial-up or because my mom was afraid of like the online chat rooms. I was not exposed to computers until I was about like 18, 19. So like 2004, 2005, which is kind of late in the game for like when a lot of stuff was starting to really hit and how to understand and work computers and networking. We did I remember using floppy disks in goddamn school. Like that.
Ooh,
That's where I'm at.
Yeah,
Right.
I had a bunch of stories on floppy disks. I hated them because they would just
I'm
crush
seeing from Say Wong and Janina
made
that
great
both of them
frisbees.
say that they would love to go back to a time before the internet as well.
I believe people were more social, and we had more fun and active things to do, and people were more imaginative.
Yeah, I would agree with that part.
Yep.
And
what are your thoughts,
I would say
Aubrey?
that I mean,
I think interpersonal relationships
musically wise,
were a lot better then.
Agreed.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Let's let Aubrey finish out hers, and then we'll come over to you, David. Aubrey.
I was gonna say like it's definitely changed the way we look at music and do music. The internet certainly has. It was interesting because I was just talking about this with my BYL partner Leo, and he was talking about how we need to have all of these things like for people to even look at the music or click on it because that's the way it is. And it's like, well, back in the day, it wasn't about how like it wasn't like that necessarily. It wasn't that you just had to do all these. Like it's about what can you make out of or do that. People were just creative because they were creative, and hopefully it got out. Hopefully it didn't. But it's like now it's about what are these are the socials. This is how you get this, and I get that, but at the same time.
But I feel that's part of the trade-off, though, especially when it comes to music, right? Because back in the day, you used to have gatekeepers. It was the record labels that would tell you if you could even be a band or not, right? Now,
I mean, they're still pretty gatekeepy.
Right. Well, but now you have the ability to go in the garage with a bunch of your friends and a computer and create your own album and fuck the record companies if they don't want to let you in, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit of a trade.
But that's not the internet. That's, I mean, to a degree, that's not the internet. That's being able to get programs for a lot cheaper and doing all of, because you don't have to go online.
And being able to get your music out there.
Getting your music out there was a lot harder, I will say.
Back in my day, we were literally standing on street corners with CDs, burned CDs, trying to sell them for like $5 a piece.
TikTok.
Right before TikTok.
Yeah.
David, what are your thoughts?
I was just going to say that interpersonal relationships definitely seem to be a lot more solid back then before the internet. I mean, when we're talking about social media and that sort of aspect of the internet, it's good. It's good in the sense that you can pretty much find out any type of information that you want. So you have like an extension of your brain just kind of out there in the ether that you can, tap into.
On-site dictionary at all times.
Learn anything you want. However, but it's also made people stupider, in a sense that because of that, every type of information that you could want is at the touch of your fingertips. So a lot less people, I'm not going to say all people, but a lot less people put the work in for researching something or learning something rather. I mean, they spend a lot of time researching.
They have a lot harder time retaining information too.
Right.
There you go. That's what I mean.
Retaining it.
Yeah.
However, if you really want to learn a song on guitar, you can learn it, and you don't read music. You can learn it note for note. It's a lot easier than trying to wind back a tape and listen to it 5 or 6 times in a row, or even worse, wind back a record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair.
But at the same time, I do blame the internet for hairy palms and blind in one eye.
I think you need to take some personal responsibility for that one, sir. Frey, what are your thoughts? Would you go back if you could?
The reason I say no is because other than, no, I totally believe that interpersonal relationships have changed forever. You put the internet on top of a pandemic and everybody's afraid to go outside, kids included. They want to stay inside. That's it. Part of that is the parents. My son would go outside. He had friends that he would see on a regular basis so that he still had that interpersonal relationship. So he did grow up with both. But with the internet, we got so many more, like technology got so better, which means we got medical advancement. People are living longer. We are more sedentary and we don't need to be, but we also live longer.
I was going to say, are we going backwards now?
We are actually. They're actually saying, and a lot of that has to do with healthcare. So,
right, a lot of that has to do
healthcare and diet.
Right, diet and consumerism.
Right. But I do think that there should be some limits on the internet. I do. I think that I love that we can have YouTube channels and people express things a lot more. And, we've got so many creative people out there, and people that may not have had a voice do have a voice. They can have their own voice. But my thing is the medical advancement. I don't know how advanced we'd be. I've seen too many post-apocalyptic TV shows and movies to know we don't have, our technology. We're not going to have a lot of stuff. I mean, that's
right. Let me ask you a question. You seen the movie Ready Player One?
Yes.
Would you, if you were president of the planet, would you institute days of the week that you could be on the internet? Like they had that thing where you could only be on the net like 3 days out of the week or something like that, or 4 days.
That wasn't that just because they didn't have the resources to have every single person in the world.
No, it was because the people were addicted to it, and he wanted people to get off the net and go have personal relationships.
I don't know if I would do that. It seems a little too authoritarian. And some people thrive on the internet. Some people who are introverts have really come into their own for that. I think that we do need to balance it, and there should be something in that. I do, like right now we're in the wild west of the internet. Like there's so much stuff still going on, so many things still coming. I think there's going to be a break. And when that happens, it's going to settle down. There's going to be balance. I believe that.
Oh, that's when the whole internet breaks, honey.
Oh yeah. No, I totally believe that. But I do think
they'll shut down everything for like a month and people are going to be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, wow.
But think about it. When your power goes off, do you know what to do? My husband stomped around our house. Our power was out for an hour. He stomped around the house and was so upset because the power was out and he couldn't play on Apex, and he got on his tablet, and then he didn't want to be on his tablet, and then he was on his phone. And I'm like, dude, go read a book or something. Come on.
Right.
But we're getting to that point. And yeah, a lot of us are addicted. I don't think we would have had the medical advancement that we have. And I don't think our lives would be as, I don't right now, our economy sucks, but for the most part, our lives are pretty,
comfortable.
It's not, comfortable. We're comfortable, Right. And if we didn't have the internet, what else would we do with our time? Well, we'd read, we'd go out, we'd do stuff.
We do the shit we used to do.
Right. We do the shit we used to do. Drink. I drink. That's
Grave, as the person here who does the shit for a living. But what are your thoughts? Do you see the pros and cons of how things used to be as opposed to now, or
fuck the internet? No, it's in my belief is the internet is no different than the invention of the TV. We had the same concerns, same problems when the TV came out, the boob tube, whatever you want to call it, that the TV was going to rot your brains. And this is just another thing. We were able to do all this stuff beforehand. People were still shitty before the internet, and they just they'd write columns about it. They'd write letters about it. They'd write all this stuff. Ads have always been there. This is just another way to get the same thing we've always had, just in a different form. So if you wanted to hang out with your friends, you could. If I want to play video games, I can still play video games. I don't have to be online to play video games. Nintendo won't let me play with fours on games I want, so they don't care about the internet. Everything's couch co-op still for a lot of that stuff, and they're still pushing the idea that you still need to be with people and you can't share games, stuff like that. So I think everything that we do on the internet has always been there. You talk about the let's call them TikTok whores, right? That have to do all this stuff. What was Star Search?
Yeah.
Right.
Not that.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the rich people that don't do anything, lifestyles, rich and famous, are you a thing? We had these people exposed to us in a different medium, and they've always been there.
That's true. It's fair. I would say that. I like the internet.
God damn that Robin Leach.
Just for porn. The internet is for porn.
But,
damn you, Robin Leach! All right.
But it's harder to get off the grid and get away from people now with the internet, that you can't just, I'm going on vacation, see ya, and work can't get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Especially for me. I have to have my phone on me to be able to do stuff. I have to have my laptop with me in case I have to do work. Before the internet, I didn't have to worry about that.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's also the work-life balance that needs to come into play for that, though, too.
Right, but in my field, you really can't do that.
You should be able to.
I agree. You should be able to, but you can't. But before, you'd be able to go, hey, I'm going on vacation. And they're like, all right, cool. See you in a week or two.
I mean, that's everywhere. That's honestly that's every aspect right now. A lot of employers do not have an understanding of work-life balance. They just want to know. And it is really about putting those boundaries up. That's where you have to learn that boundary of the work-life balance. And it's hard.
Graveyard, do you feel like our reliance on the internet, have we put ourselves in a fucked position as an animal? I remember, God, I don't know what it was, like 5-6 years ago or something. It was like power went out in Seattle or something like that, and like nobody could get to the banks for like 3 hours, and the city just went ape shit. Like people were on the verge of tearing the city down because they couldn't get to an ATM for 3 hours.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like because everything's so interconnected that they don't have these things at stores or the money or be able to do that stuff. If you wanted to get money, you go to your bank and your money was physically there. It doesn't matter anymore. Right. And if we lose, let's say take an EMP goes off and we get Dark Angel World.
Wow, great show.
Good reference. Good reference.
And we have all this stuff, and we have to figure out how to get back to it. We've become so accustomed to having everything at our fingertips, and and to David's point, the research, you had to go to a library and you had to read the book, you had to read encyclopedia to learn the information. We have so much misinformation now, it's ridiculous. You can't trust I feel like both things.
We have so much I don't want to say individualized, but storage of information in certain people's, right? Like, for example, if the world went fucking down right now, not everybody has the knowledge you have to help get the internet back online, right? There are people that you need that know how to run the electricity company, that know how to run the water company. If something like the snap happened and we lost half of our civilization, I feel like we would lose a lot more because you've just taken out half of the world's knowledge base. And it used to be in the old days, everybody knew how to do home repair, maintenance, and everybody knew how to fix their buggy or their wagon or put a horseshoe on their horse. Nowadays, it's all the knowledge is so specialized that I know how to do sales, and that's what I do. You know how to do IT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've always had the specialization.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that too, Graveyard. I think we've always had people like that. We've always had the specializations. I mean, that's why we had grave diggers and such.
Well,
those people really specialize with those things.
We had a run on banks before the internet. Like that happened. Yeah, I mean, there was tons of times when suddenly banks would close and people would freak out, and you couldn't FDR did that whole where you couldn't actually get any money out of a bank for like a whole weekend because the depression happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean that was well before the internet. So I mean that kind of stuff, that's just reactions to to stimulus. I mean, people were freaking out because they needed to freak out. And just like, the 3 hours not getting to an ATM. I get it. I understand. But I do feel like our reaction time is quicker to things because it is more globally available to find out what's going on. Like, and I do think Graveyard's right. The TV is what started it. Before TV, we didn't. Yeah, there was the radio, and we didn't have a lot of stuff on the radio. You didn't hear about wars on the radio, really. There was
you had the
time,
fireside chats. I mean, you did have fireside
right?
chats
But it was information that they wanted you to hear. It wasn't necessarily all the information all the time, and I do think we have that, and I think that's also where balance will come from. But I mean, look, if you are a people person and you want to get out and you want to see people, you're going to find a way to do it. Right? I mean, that's when I need to see people, I go see people. I pick up my phone and I say, hey, you guys want to go out for dinner? And we go out for dinner, or, hey, let's go get coffee or whatever. So we are going to find that. But
God, you have friends that have flexible schedules to actually hang out outside of work hours. That's amazing.
Yeah. I also have a friend in North Carolina that I talk to a lot. She's my best friend, but so I may go see her. It's just people will find a way, regardless of what you throw at them. People will find a way. We have been finding a way for thousands of years, and before we blow the planet up, which we will eventually. At some point, then.
I hope not. I hope we have more of a future like Star Trek. But
I don't think we're going to be living on the planet when we blow it up. I think it's going to be a big spectacle like Doctor Who, where it's like the end of planet Earth and everybody goes to watch it, and species are all over the place. I think that's my hopeful vision of the future, and not us killing each other because somebody decided to press a button. But
I mean, there was a huge event that they talk about in Star Trek that happened with that, where there was like nuclear warfare and all that. So yeah. I mean, totally possible. Anyway,
Grave, what are your thoughts? Better or worse now?
I mean, fours.
I'm good. Great. I'm sorry. Wow. Fours. I was looking at Grave's picture. I was looking at Grave's picture and cut me some goddamn slack, guys.
You didn't even hear that.
What are your thoughts, Forrest?
No, we couldn't.
You're muted, Forrest.
You're muted. You're muted.
Big Girl does rock. So she's awesome.
Ben, how in the blazing blue fuck am I supposed to follow that bearded greatness's answer?
Well, he was the expert on it, but everybody's opinion is welcome, and I want to know yours.
I don't have much of one. It's very, very simple. I would not go back because back then I did not have, which is holding my life stable right now. So,
right. I was gonna say with Frey talking about the different relationships and stuff. I know with my son, he has certain groups of friends that he plays games with online that he's never ever met. You know what I mean? He's played games with these people for years and will consider. What's up, E-Man's World of Geeks? Thank you for coming out to Kyber Cave.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
He will tell you that these are his friends and considers them, just as strong friends as somebody he might go to school with. And you look at the relationship that we all have here with KCP. A lot of us would not have met if not for the internet. We're in different parts of the country. All of us are in different cities. So, and I would say that these relationships are probably just as strong as a lot of the relationships that I know offline as well. I mean, Aaron's flying across the goddamn country here. He's spending all this money to come be with us, and he's never spent personal time in a room with any of us. Would you say that these internet relationships are just as strong as outside internet relationships, Forrest? Or is that part of your reason for coming out to California? I mean, to make it that? Do you feel like you have to be in the same room for it to be a real friendship?
That's an interesting wording for it. I mean, we've a few of us, very few of us, have had kind of an intimate discussion concerning that. Is it like a verification process if you want to be scientific about it? Kinda. But I also believe that upon my being there and seeing you all in person and basically living life for 2.5 weeks, is that going to drastically change relationships? It potentially could. Or it potentially couldn't. I could come back here after that set amount of time and things won't change at all, or we could be greatly enriched. But will it feel more real at that point? I would say yes. I think there's, because you're going to see sides of me that you don't know about. I'm going to see sides of you guys I don't know about. I don't know if y'all have road rage. I don't know who your
I do.
I don't know if you're I don't know who your neighbors are. I don't know,
I don't
you
either.
I don't know.
I don't
my
know if
neighbors
you
either.
scream at the news like a banshee. I don't know if you snore. I don't know if you sing in the shower. I don't know a lot of things. There's a lot of perception that could be
Yes, I
changed.
snore. No, I don't sing in the shower.
Well, on that idea really quickly, and not to come, I'm going to come back to you, Forrest, but Aubrey and
Yes.
Anthony, both of you guys met for the first time at KyberCon. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Did
About
it
damn time.
feel any different for you seeing this person and seeing them in the flesh? Did it feel any different, or was it just like, oh, that's just Anthony?
It felt different. I felt shorter.
No, oh yeah, and I forgot David. This was David's first time meeting as well too.
You're muted, Anthony.
Anthony and Dave.
Anthony, you're muted.
Anthony, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, Anthony.
You're
Sorry.
muted. There you go.
Okay, now he's gone.
No, you're.
Yeah, no,
I
no,
muted
no,
you
no,
when you were
no.
eating
You're-
cereal, homie.
I was sorry. Salad. I was eating a salad. I thought I'd add a little touch of ASMR into the mix, No, it was funny because Say Wong said the same thing. They're like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be so tall." I'm like, "Am I that tall?" But it is definitely different to see people in person because you have those perceptions. It was definitely cool to see Aubrey in person for the first time. I didn't expect you to be so curvaceous. Like, you have like really like super hips and you had the big girls, and I was just like, I just imagined you to be very skinny mini, like you're so skinny. So I could see you rocking Jessica Rabbit for sure.
I get called that.
What about you, Aubrey? Was it interesting meeting people that you had never? I mean, obviously we've been doing this all together for some of us for over a year now, and it being the first time coming together and meeting. Well, no, you've met David, you've met yeah. Anthony was the only one there that you hadn't met, I guess, right? Because you've met Mez, obviously.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, Anthony is pretty much exactly how I thought he would be, which is awesome and fun and sporadic. No, I mean, I think our personalities meshed pretty well together. I don't know, like he's just person to me. I don't know how to say it. He's just, it was really cool to see my friend in person. That's what it was. That's what it was like. It was really lovely hanging out with him and Eli. And I got to, one thing I did is I got to see them interacting with each other. And that was really sweet. It was really awesome to see like their interactions. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so adorable.
Oh, Eli had a lot of fun at that day. He kept on telling me after that. He's like,
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, that was very good. Say Wong says I was surprised Meza knew what I looked like. And James says I talk to y'all more than I talk to my own family. I mean, that happens, right? I think about that at work, and I was like, oh my god, I'm with these little bastards more than I am with like a child that I like. My immediate family, my dog, young Phil.
You were a surprise to me. I had no idea what you looked like when I met you. I was like, oh, that's Say Wong. Like, oh, he's much more quieter in real life.
Was he yelling at a fan though at the con?
He was not quiet. Like
was he demanding you all started on time?
No.
Right? No, because we didn't start on time.
No. It's really
But
funny.
that one wasn't my fault. I was at the bank.
It was just really funny, like, because I just didn't, like, Mets had to come up and be like, that was Say Wong. I'm like, oh, that was Say Wong? I had no idea. He introduced himself, nothing, just walked by the table, was like, and I walked away.
Say Wong's a very quiet person.
And then, he's much louder here than he is.
Well, and then after the cat was
that.
out of the bag, it's like, yeah, say more shit online. It's funny.
After that happened, we did tell him to keep giving shit because it's really funny.
Apparently, James likes it when Say Wong gives me shit because then I yell back at him. I get all hyphy. David, what are your thoughts before and after the internet?
Didn't we already do me?
Yeah,
did we?
Thought he would. Yeah.
Did we?
Never came
after
back
Aubrey.
Wait, did we get through everybody then?
Except
you
you.
You never came back to me like you said, but that's okay.
Oh, well, that's probably okay.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, buddy. We're good. Cutting me off. We'll get back to Forrest.
Yeah, that's how I feel all the time. It's okay, Forrest. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Train of thought. Killing me. Just killing me. No, back to what you were saying
Janina.
about like how
Good night, Janina. Get some
how,
sleep. Have a great weekend.
shit.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Forrest. Sorry.
Losing my train of thought. I'm stupid after 10 p.m.
You're not stupid. Stop it.
God damn it. Stop it. So yeah, the perception thing, like is it gonna be different? So it's no surprise, and it's not a secret. Like you guys know, it's literal now. It's literally there are literal months that I've been putting effort into my health, and you guys know for a fact that there is a quote unquote image that I would like to have you all like see me as when I get there. Like I really want to arrive looking better than I do now. I want to arrive there looking like, okay, this is kind of what I expected, but he's got his shit together. Like that's kind of more or less. I wish I could put it into better words. Like I just want to get off the plane and have that physical, like that vision of, okay, this is what I'm picturing he's going to look like. And then when I get there, it's like, whoa, he's like much better put together than I first thought. Because again, my Facebook pictures are not me now.
So what you're trying to say is like set the bar really low so we can just go, God damn, that man is
funny as that sounds, there's an element of truth to it. Yes, there is. It's like I almost want it to be like, man, I was expecting this fat bastard to get off the plane, and dude, like that's not what got off the plane. And it's
you've been working on yourself for months. We've been watching you.
I've been.
You just want me to say daddy as soon as I see you.
You do realize that we can see you, right?
No. What I want is for somebody to. I want somebody just to go.
I will do that as soon as I give you a hug. It's just gonna be like,
squeeze harder.
James says he thought. Well, I don't even know if anybody, maybe David will know, possibly David or Aubrey. James says that he thought Eli was Jason. Do you guys remember Jason from the Kyber Cave? He was the one that used to do the like instructions and stuff. He was.
I don't think I ever met him.
Yeah, I think he might have left by the time you guys started hanging around the cave. Wow, that shows how long James has been around the cave. E-Man, ever since the pandemic, I've made more friends online than in IRL. Yeah, I think that pandemic kind of permanently changed a few things, including people's, fear levels, just in general. Not that I feel like people are at, still like, oh my God, there's a pandemic, put on your mask. But it just seems like people are a little more cautious. They're less likely to go to a big concert or, a big party or something like that. Walmarts aren't even staying open after midnight anymore. I can't get no shopping done.
I just came from a concert.
Right.
Forrest, here's an orange one for you.
No.
Thank you, sweetie.
And now I'm eating him.
You're surprised how slightly different Ezra looked. That's hilarious. Yeah, he's gained weight since. Okay, never mind. Not gonna buy that.
That's because he's in a relationship now. He's in a steady relationship, and he has. Before, Ezra used to like live where he could. Now he's got a steady room, a steady job, and a steady girlfriend. That's why he's getting fat.
I'm afraid he's fat.
It happens.
Surprising to me. I mean, it was just surprising. I was like, whoa. But at least he doesn't have that beard
what
anymore.
Is that?
Eli just pulled it out of somewhere. It's some collector's Darth Maul lightsaber thing from back when the first episode came out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
Wait, I want to see what this is here.
Huh?
I'm trying to see.
There's a watch in the back apparently.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Ooh. Oh, that's Maul.
I'm not sure where you just pulled this out of though.
Sorry, guys. It's getting late.
I've been carrying this uncomfortable thing in my ass for 6 years. Sorry. All right, guys. It is about that time. We're going to go and do our little roundabouts and tell people where they can find us when they're not hanging out with here at KCAD. So why don't we just start it off right where we're at?
Anthony.
Hi. Okay. So you can catch me back at my drag show March 8th and the 15th. It's the second and third Wednesdays of the month. We are looking to do probably a Disney theme and then a Broadway theme because we're gay. And then outside of that, pray for me and my back issues. I'm hoping that my shit works out Monday. And on top of that, we are working quickly on another 2 Queens and a 4s.
Yes.
We were trying to do something today, and then Aubrey lost her phone, but then she got it back, so the world is right again.
So we had a lot of fun playing a new game.
Yes, I introduced Forrest to one of my favorites, which is called Vagrant Story, and I think I got you hooked a little, just skosh.
It looked like a super fun game, actually. It did. I was coming down from a panic attack, though. I was having a panic attack earlier, so
we really needed you as Calum Merlots. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it again, and this time we'll just have to start it again.
But our Scottish accents were on point.
I know.
You guys are on point. You guys have recorded it. It was. They didn't record it because they're waiting for me. But yeah, they're like, "Where are you? Where have you been? What happened?" And I'm like, "My phone was lost. It fell out of my pocket when I was on a walk, and so someone picked it up, and like I thought they turned it off, and it was a whole thing. But it's fine."
Goodbye, good night, say one.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Nice.
I was gonna go the Sound of Music one.
So long,
but I prefer
farewell. I need to say goodbye.
So long,
No.
But did you say so long or say long?
Farewell. I'll do the good night.
That works too.
To you and you.
All right, Frey, what's your infos?
So, hiya, I'm Frey Girl. You can find me Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time till 4 p.m. On the break room, the Discord chat. I do Discord, but it's the live chat. I'm one of the moderators. I also am a moderator on the Discord itself.
For who?
And you can for New Rock Stars, and also for us for.
Yes, we do have a Discord for those that don't know.
Yes,
it's not quite as robust as New Rock Stars at this point. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Not yet, but we have room to grow.
We have room to grow.
We have room to grow.
I like.
I do also do some stuff with distance nerding on either Tuesdays or Thursdays, sometimes both. I was on the build on Thursday this week. I think was I on the thing on Tuesday?
Might have been.
No, I don't think so because it was
No.
Valentine's Day. No, it wasn't. That was last Tuesday. Anyway, sorry.
We all take turns going on to distant nerding and being
yeah,
on
we
the
all
show.
kind of we do a round robin on that sometimes. Although our boy Fours. I think he's the unofficial guest host or official guest. Anyway, I'll let him tell you. Why am I spending my time on him? How dare I? And I also have been putting up shorts on my channel, which is Frey Girl. It's at Frey Girl. I'm working on something with my son where we're going to do a podcast together. I don't know really how that's going to, we're in the planning stages of it. So that should be fun. I'll let you guys know when that happens. But most of you can see me here. I'm here. I do games with the peeps every now and then. I watch them. I don't play well with others, but I watch well with others.
I like to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's me. You can catch me on Twitter if you guys want to reach out. I am on Twitter at Freygirl. And I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. I am not a TikTok whore, though. I am not. I do it solely for the filters. But that's Gotham_Oracle. I'm there, and you can find me there. Yeah, I have a Facebook, but I don't use it. So if you message me on Facebook or something, I'm probably not going to see it. So Instagram, Twitter, better. But yeah, other than that, that's me. I love Wonder Woman. I got my Team Diana shirt on. So hey, there you go. Move on to something else. I don't know what else to say.
Graveyard.
All right. Hello. Provided when my concerts don't run late, you can find me at Kyber Cave After Dark. Yeah, that was a fiasco. But on Mondays, we have a pre-recorded show that we put out, Retro Alcove. You see me playing with all these wonderful people over on this side over here. On top of that, you can find me on Thursdays on the Build at Distance Nerding. Right after that, you can join Forz and I for Kyber Cave Gaming Live for 2 hours. After that, we're starting Dead Space next week on that. On top of that, I am the co-host of the Mostly Pilot at Night Mostly podcast. We do have a website now, which is the entirety of its name.com. Or we made it nice and we abbreviate it so it's just the first letter of each word.com.
TMPOANT.
Yep, .com.
Cool.
And we release podcasts every Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts. We also release it on the website as well now. We have email going to it as well. And we have merch now, and shameless plug. You can still use the KyberCon 3 promo code and get discounts on the merch as well.
Yay!
And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Pod Out at Night as well. So if you guys want to hit me up, just Pod Out at Night. That one's much shorter.
And it's a great show for those of you that have not checked it out. Make sure you go over there and check that out. Mr. David. Hello there.
You're muted, David. You're muted.
Oh, here we are. Is that better? Can you
Yes.
hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm David. I've been kind of publicly reclused lately, but
Yes,
I'm still the token pet conservative that likes to come on here, mostly for the inappropriate humor and dirty jokes.
Sure.
At times, you can find me underneath a BART bridge, beating the hell out of people with bamboo sticks.
As you do.
Speaking
fair.
of which, Aubrey, I think we should probably get back to doing some sword
I
fighting.
know. We need to. Yep.
So
happen.
I also my other hobbies include sword fighting. Obviously, I just said I like to beat people, not only with bamboo, but giant glow sticks too. Sometimes people call them lightsabers.
Yeah.
But I wish you all a good night. Talk big and fuck hard.
I just have to point out, David, this is the first time you and I have been on this together.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Very true.
There's been many times your name is brought up, and Graveyard says, "Who is this David you speak of?"
Now you know, David.
Oh,
Now
really?
you
You guys
know-
are talking
now you
about
know,
me
Matt.
behind my back? I hope
No,
not.
Oh, definitely all the
Only
time.
with love
What?
It's kind of in public.
and admiration.
All right, here we go, Miss
Hi, I'm
Aubrey.
Aubrey.
You are Aubrey.
I am. Sometimes known as Captain Lady Moon. I go and do games with these lovely people here, with 2 queens and a 4s. With Mr. Fours, we do Last of Us. We have a live coming soon for the Last of Us last episode.
Yes.
And and I beat up David under a bridge. Mostly just I mostly just hit him on the head a lot. It's a mutual beating. He's learning to protect his head.
We beat each other.
He's learning how to protect his head more. Actually, what's funny is one thing I got at the con. They're like, "Oh, you're shorter in real life than I thought." I thought you were hella tall. I'm like, what? It's really funny. But yeah, so you can go and listen to my music. I've got all the things here you can reach my music stuff at. I'm also on Instagram. My personal is Luthien the Fair, and you can also look up my music, my personal music. But we have 2 songs out right now. We're working on a 3rd one to release. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, please follow our newsletter to learn more.
Eli wanted to give a quick shout out too, that without KyberCon, he would not have gotten one of his favorite games of all time.
Yes.
He's been looking for this for years.
Did he get it from one of the vendors?
He did.
I give up.
He did. The Lost Vikings 2.
Oh, it's a great game.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, and
I never
acting
played
stuff.
it
I'm going to be doing more acting stuff soon, so you'll see me on stuff.
Yay!
Excellent.
So,
Mr. Ford.
hi, Mr. Foyers.
I'm Fours.
Mr. Faz.
Go to kybercave.com, get yourself a saber. Go to saberfont.com, get yourself a sound font. Put that on your saber and thoroughly enjoy it. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, go to Distance Nerding's YouTube channel. You can find me as the unofficial host until James and Phil get tired of me. But until that time, I'm having one hell of a blast. Come back to Kyber
Good.
Cave Productions, where you can sometimes find me on the Retro Alcove. You can find us on 2 Queens and a 4s. You can find Graveyard and I and Mrs. Force playing live games on Thursday nights. You can find me right here on Kyber Cave After Dark Fridays. And look for me in California in approximately a month and 3 weeks from now. Good night.
Hey.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, and Forrest, just if you ever come up here, I just want you to bring Florida Man. You just got to be Florida Man. That's what I expect.
Oh, he's
What
And
about
if
you,
and,
Ark?
and if you come
Sorry.
here, do not bring Florida Man. I request no Florida Man. I'm sorry.
No Florida man. Okay.
But if
Ark.
you want to bring Charlie Day
Oh.
dressed up in a green outfit, that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
I want to say
Sorry.
E-Man's World of Geek was our last winner of Saber, and I'm happy that finally got worked out, and that Saber is on the way. We lost communication for a while, so we didn't know if E-Man's was going to get their Saber, but so yay!
Yay!
Our next Saber. Oh, I guess it's my turn, guys.
Yeah, it's
we
your
are
turn, Ark.
we are just 14 subscribers away from giving away
Gosh.
a NeoPixel Dark Saber. We will be doing that at 1,000 subscribers. Can you guys believe we are at 1,000 subscribers?
I'm
We are
so
less
excited.
than I want to say we're just over 800 view hours away, and then we'll be a real little YouTube channel, and then we'll have to start following rules and all that good stuff. But the good news is that we'll actually have a representative from YouTube, so we can ask them directly what we are doing and fucking up, as opposing to just guessing at things and trying to figure it out. We've had a couple copyright restrictions, especially over at Hearts of Kyber, but we will get that all figured out. It looks like, I don't want to fingers crossed, but we just got an email today from SAC Anime asking if we were interested. We have been waiting. This is like literally over a year. We've been trying to get into SAC Anime as a vendor, and their waiting list has been so long that we finally made it up the waiting list. So
Oh, that's awesome.
fingers crossed we will be at
That's
SAC
awesome.
anime in the next couple of weeks. So the hits just keep on coming. Make sure you stay tuned to KCP. We have so many. We've got shows on 6 nights a week right now, soon to be 7. So there's just always so much good stuff coming at you. And I'm really bad about this, but please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. I'm told by the other YouTubers that even though people should just assume it by now, you always have to say like and subscribe. So please like and subscribe. And go and like and subscribe to all these other fantastic. Make sure to check out Frey's projects. Make sure to check out They Mostly Pod Out at Night. Make sure to go check out Live Anthony and Aubrey, them doing their things. Fours is on on Distance Nerding. Make sure to check out Distance Nerding wherever
Check out our
you
sister show.
podcast as well. We love our crew over there. And if you happen to see Say Wong live, tell him, stop giving me shit, Say Wong!
Give him more shit, Say Wong.
Give him all the shit.
All right.
We love you,
guys.
Say Wong. Keep doing you, Say Wong.
Yeah, keep being you, Say Wong. Exactly.
I apologize for being late tonight, but as you can see, our lovely Mr. Fours had it all under control.
He called you lovely.
Can I not?
No, you.
Is there a problem with calling my friends lovely?
With your pets up.
You all are lovely people.
I just wanted to, he's already getting the compliments. He hasn't even gotten the plane yet, and he's already.
Jamez loves Forrest. We love you, Jamez.
I'm just ready. He's gonna get off the plane and he's like, "Oh my god, you're a lot fatter than I thought you were gonna be."
Oh, stop. Don't say that. That's mean.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
all right, guys.
Intimidated by that picture you guys all took together.
I just can't wait to have you in that picture too. And then Graveyard soon after. I'm telling you guys, that is my goal. It was so funny. We were in KyberCon 3 and people were like, literally, they were like, so what are we doing for KyberCon 4? Is it going to be the same time of the year? Is it going to be I was like, dude, can we get through 3, please? But that is my goal. I do not want to do 4 until we're in the position to fly everybody in our crew out for it.
Ooh,
so
it'll be KyberCon 4s.
And I have to make sure.
Oh.
Two shades of Frey.
Yeah.
Take it to the grave.
I can't do it. I suck at this. Oh.
All right, y'all. For everyone here, it looks like people are getting tired and loopy. For everyone here at KCAD, we love you all. Everybody out in the audience, we thank you for being with us on a Friday night. And we will see you. Well, unless you tune into one of our other beautiful, fabulous channels, we will see you here again next Friday. Take it easy, y'all. Oh, wait. I got crap. I should have been prepared with the crap first.
Here
we go.
Oh my God.
Loving two people.
Yes, be kind, love one another.
Don't suck.
Love one another. All right.